I'm big on Robert Woods this season with Matthew Stafford. You talked about a little bit how this improves things for the wide receivers, for the pass catchers. I definitely believe this improves things for Robert Woods from Jared Goff for a couple of reasons. I mean, one, yes, Stafford's definitely going to be able to throw the ball down the field with more effectiveness than Jared Goff will. So maybe Robert Woods will actually get targeted more down the field and not just, the slant, intermediate, over the middle type of guy all the time. But my big factor is this. Cooper Kupp was the number one red zone target in Jared Goff's eyes. I think that changes with Matthew Stafford. Now, I'm not projecting some insane touchdown increase as a result of that, but I do have him projected for 8 touchdowns, which actually, in fact, would be a career high for Robert Woods. But when you get his 8 touchdowns with his consistent 130 targets, with his consistent 85-plus receptions, his consistent 1,100-plus yards, and you add in 8 touchdowns, I give you my projected wide receiver 9 of the year. His ADP right now is wide receiver 19, so I am much higher on him than the current ADP is at the moment.
Yeah, I have a little bit of different take. I think Cooper Kupp's going to be the biggest beneficiary. But having said that, I do think that when you look at the statistics Robert Woods can put up, he's going to be very similar to a Keenan Allen, I think, and kind of what your production you're going to be able to get out of this guy. It's going to be a consistent production. He's a good route runner. He's always going to be kind of get open. You might not get the high level, double-digit touchdowns, but you're always going to have a guy who's going to be guaranteed basically to have a great, outstanding floor and will always be productive week in, week out, which can easily help him finish in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I still love Cooper Kupp too. Don't get me twisted here. Last year, he finished as wide receiver 27, and he only had 3 receiving touchdowns, which was a career low. He had a career low in yards per catch at 10.4. So, I mean, with Cooper Kupp, the fact that he finished as wide receiver 27 and had career lows in a lot of his statistics just speaks to the type of receiver that he really is. His ADP right now is wide receiver 20. I have him ranked at wide receiver 19, so just one spot ahead. I have him right about 1,000 yards at 80 catches, 6 touchdowns. These are going to be 2 guys they're going to be very consistent from week to week, and they have an extra ceiling built in to the range of outcomes because of the upgrade at the quarterback position.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp to me is the one I'm really excited about going into this year. We've seen him be very productive historically and had double the touchdowns on his resume. I think he's going to return to that range. I think Matthew Stafford's going to love throwing to him, especially in the red zone. He's a guy who gets separation. He can attack the ball. Stafford likes to kind of fire it in there when he gets close to the red zone. This guy can go up and get it. So I really think he's going to have a lot more value than he had last year, absolutely. I think he's going to kind of be one of those guys who's going to catch people off guard in a lot of ways because people kind of forgot how good Cooper Kupp is. I think you see the yards per attempt is going to go up a lot for him too. Yards per catch is going to go up as a result of that. 10.4 I think is ridiculously low, but we kind of see Jared Goff basically use him almost as a glorified tight end in a sense. He ran a lot of drags, a lot of curl routes, a lot of underneath stuff. Matthew Stafford's going to actually push him down ball down the field to this guy, and this guy does great routes. He has a good body. He's pretty good with yards after the catch. So I'm really, really excited about Cooper Kupp. And he's one of those guys that while I might target early running backs more so than some people, I'm going to kind of make up because I would like to have a Cooper Kupp on my team as that second receiver. And I think he'll be outstanding value.
Yeah, even with a Robert Woods, and that's why I'm so bullish on Robert Woods, because you can kind of draft him. Like I said, his ADP is wide receiver 19. Cooper Kupp's ADP is wide receiver 20. They're going back-to-back in drafts right now, and they just have great upside. I'm great with either one of these guys, and I do, like with Robert Woods' case, I believe he has top 10 potential that I'm projecting him for in his outcome. But these are 2 guys that you can get right now in that 5th to 6th round territory, and you're getting very high quality wide receivers at that point in your draft. So very much great values there. So I'm just going to ask you this question, Chris. Who's the 3rd receiver on the Rams for you?
I think it's going to be DeSean for the 5 games he's healthy. I think that when you look at this offense and how it's kind of built, Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp aren't necessarily field stretchers. They're not guys who can kind of, make safeties kind of respect them and back off. But DeSean Jackson does have speed still. He still is that guy. As a result, I think he'll be out there more often than not than Van Jefferson will, because it's going to allow them to kind of attack more horizontal and vertically versus having guys kind of all bunched together. We talked about, Henderson being involved in the passing game. You have Robert Woods. You have a Cooper Kupp. All guys who are wonderful in the slot, great route runners. But you need somebody to kind of make safeties back up, give some open space for Matthew Stafford to kind of make those throws underneath. And I think that's where you're going to see DeSean basically be that guy. He'll have some big play aspects. I think he still can be explosive,